Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. For those utilizing ASL interpretation services, our two interpreters are Felice Shays and Rebecca Friedman Lockhart. Instructions on how to pin their videos can be found in the chat. For those utilizing CART closed captioning services, a link to that will be in the chat as well. Thank you.
Frank Dwyer, Police Commissioner Designee.
Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Puma. I'm the Manhattan City Council designee from Manhattan. I said Manhattan. Wonderful to see a full room in August.
Thank you, board members. Oh, yes. Could you please introduce yourself?
Ms. Crawford.
Irene?
Sorry, having a little trouble with the sound. Hello, everyone. Shireen Crawford. I'm a mayoral appointee. Good to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have the adoption of minute from the July meeting. I would like to find out if we need any changes or corrections, or if there's any motion to approve the July board meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The minutes are adopted. It's almost time for students to go back to school in our city, but it is also true here at CCRB. As you may know, when our agency hires new investigators, we bring them aboard as class. This allows us to give each cohort 8 weeks of thorough training together, learning about our procedures and methods. This system also helps them learn on each other and grow as a group as they begin their journey with the CCRB. We are pleased to welcome a new class of investigators to our agency this month, and I wish to take this moment to personally welcome them to CCRB. With the summer soon coming to an end, our summer interns are also heading back to school. I want to thank them for their spirit and desire to learn about our agency. We are very proud of their work you have accomplished here, and we are excited to show some of it here shortly. We wish you well as you move on with your life. You're always welcome to the CCRB. As our intern have shown, working with the youth of our city is vital for building trust and awareness for the work of the CCRB. This is why we are also excited for our Youth Advisory Council to return from his summer break this fall. If you aren't aware, the Youth Advisory Council is made up of young leaders who are committed to criminal justice issues and improving police-community relations. You will hear more about their work over the coming months, which will be including new efforts to reach more young people online. But for now, we are excited to welcome them back. With that, I will turn over to Executive Director John Darsh for his update. John.
Thank you, Dr. Khalid. First, I know it wasn't too long ago that we gathered here for our July board meeting, so I want to thank you all for joining us again so soon. A brief update on the agency rulemaking process as we move into the fall. The city charter establishes that each agency is empowered to adopt rules as necessary to carry out the duties delegated to it by federal, state, or local law. For the CCRB, that means investigating, mediating, and prosecuting complaints of misconduct against New York City police officers. As part of this process, city agencies identify key regulatory priorities and draft potential new rules or amendments to existing rules that align the agency with those priorities. The proposed rules are then submitted to the city's law department and the mayor's office of operations for a formal review. Once those offices have approved the proposed rules, those rules are published in the city record. That then starts a period of public comment in which the public has an ability to give their opinions of the proposed changes. After the public comment process is complete, the new or amended rules are voted on by the board. As I've noted in previous board meetings, the agency needs to update the rules regarding officer and civilian interviews. We're going to be having in the September meeting a presentation from the General Counsel's office about these proposed rule changes. As a reminder, our office is open for walk-in complaints, but it is also possible to file complaints online at nyc.gov/CCRB complaint or by calling 1-800-341-2272 or by dialing 311 or by tagging the agency on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For those wishing to speak during the public comment section of today's meeting, we ask that you keep your questions and comments to 4 minutes. We're going to be using the online folks, or we're going to be hearing from the online folks during public comment first, and then we'll be calling on some folks at the beginning of the in-person public comment session, and then we'll open it up for anyone who wants to make a public comment, If there are folks here today who want to file a complaint or get an update on the status of their complaint, we have 2 investigators on hand ready to help you. The investigators on call this afternoon are Emma Steidehar and Rob Bryan, and Amy O'Sullivan is also here from our Civilian Assistance Unit. Thank you all for your presence here today, and we'll now move on to our board's formal business.
Do any board member has any question? Now we'll go to the presentation from Jahi Rose and the interns.
Chairperson, did we recognize our brother John? He just came in.
That's true. Thank you, AU. Mr. Siegel, if you could introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. I'm John Siegel. I'm a mayoral appointee. I apologize for my tardiness.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
We need a big hole. You know? We just need a bigger hole.
So we're just moving in a few more chairs because it's a very full room today. So just bear with us for a moment before we get started.
Sister Bell, you come sit up here.
One more minute.
What? Wow. Okay.
You can start.
Hi, everyone. My name's William. and I'm one of the outreach interns for the outreach unit at the school. It's actually my second summer working with the CCRB, and we're going to show you what we've been working on for the summer. And we'll give the mic to Axel.
Thank you. Okay, the first thing we have done is during our internship here at the CCRB is to use ambassador training, which is provided by the CCRB, where we got the opportunity to learn about the history of the agency, what the different services at the agency do, and understanding how we could do outreach to spread the word about the agency to young New Yorkers, so they could file a complaint if they feel like they have become a victim of police misconduct. However, during our internship, we not only learned about how to do outreach to help everyone, we also learned about life skills that we could use in the future. Next thing we have done is getting trained on what credit is provided by Chase Bank at Grand Street Settlements, where we learned about what credit is, how to use a credit card, and how we can prevent lowering our credit score by paying our bills on time and prevent spending over 30% of our credit limit on things that we buy. Thirdly, we were trained on how to use Adobe Premiere, also provided by the Best Buy Teen Tech Center at Grand Street Settlement, where we got the opportunity to learn about how to use professional video editing software, how to add text, effects, make the audio sound better, and we got the opportunity to apply those skills, and that will be later explained in the presentation. And finally, we were trained on how to build a resume provided by MTech, where we got to learn how to write a resume, how to add our experiences, skills, awards, and education. And we learned that we could use a resume to apply for jobs, internships, and fellowships. I thank you, and I'll be passing the mic back to William.
Thank you, Axel, for that. We will now hear from Torin.
Hi, I was a part of the Social Media Presence Committee and the Summer Activity Committee. In the Summer Activity Committee, we did presentations with the outreach coordinators. Through youth ambassador training, we learned about the CCRB and became more comfortable speaking to the public. When presenting to the youth, we utilized the connection of youth to each other to make our presentations more engaging. For our first event, we went out with Venus to participate in a play street, which is a tabling event in Brownsville. We did a college now tour and outreach presentation here. For the CCRB Cares Initiative, we helped inventory donated clothes for the African American Planning Commission, and we tabled at the most recent National Night Out. At the beginning of our National Night Out, our entire group was shy to speak to members of the public, but through more talking and more interactions, we got more comfortable giving out our information. Passing it back to Lily.
Thank you, Torin. Now we're going to hear from Anthony.
Hi everyone, I'm Anthony. I'm a part of the Social Media Presence Committee. Being part of this committee has been an honor that came with responsibilities. Our goal is to improve the CCRB's use of social media to appeal to more audience such as the youth. In order to reach the goal, there were responsibilities given to analyze the style of how CCRB was posting on social media platforms such as Instagram and X. Other tasks involve researching similar agencies and comparing the content between the two agencies.
We use comparative analysis to provide feedback on how the CCRB can improve on public engagement on social media. We researched the following agencies: Department of Investigations and Department of Corrections, in addition to other agencies. The total time to gather and analyze everything took around 9 hours. We concluded that the increased amount of online posts with engagement in public with large crowds of
There is no more audio in the meeting online.
There we go.
Is this gonna work?
So we want to apologize for the technical difficulty. We will be getting back on track in 1 minute. William, before you restart, Ms. Simmons, can you introduce yourself to the full? I know, but we weren't online.
Oh, I'm so sorry. For those of you that are online, my name is Esmeralda Simmons. I'm from Brooklyn, appointed by the public advocate.
William, you're back.
Do I speak into this?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. We use our comparative analysis to provide feedback on how the CCRB can improve on public engagement on social media. We researched the following agencies: Department of Investigations and Department of Corrections, in addition to other city agencies. The total time to analyze and gather everything took around 9 hours. We concluded that increase the amount of online posts with engagement in public with.
Okay, William, it went down again. I
You
think.
bring your microphone like that, so.
Uh.
Oh, it
Go back to the microphone. This one?
raise his volume a little bit.
But also, Nakai, did we lose network again?
No, we're here. We can hear.
Okay, excellent.
We can't see any slides, however, if there are any.
All right, we should be good to go. See.
Thanks, William.
All right, we use our comparative analysis to provide feedback on how the CCRB can improve on public engagement on social media. They researched the following agencies: Department of Investigations and Department of Corrections, in addition to other city agencies. The total time to analyze and gather everything took around 9 hours, and we concluded that the increased amount of online posts with engagement in public with large property downloadable creative posts by adding music to static images or videos brings more engagement to. Yep. Short videos with action clips or interdimensional segments that potentially can be interviews, and videos with CCRB admin can own group on the presence on social media. All right, now I'm going to give the mic to Chelsea.
I am from the Innovations Committee, and I'll be explaining our big project that we worked on during our time here at the CCRB. So before working on what's T, we had to understand the CCRB, we had to do outreach, we had to learn, we had to do a lot of research. We had to have a lot of conversation about how we wanted our vision to come to life. So before the interview, we came up with the phrase, what's T CCRB? But for that, I would like to pass it over to my friend Denise.
I'm part of the innovation committee. Oh, sorry. I'm part of the outreach innovation team and what's teachers are doing. We wanted something catchy, fun, and clear that we're sharing information. We skipped what's the team since it was overused and it was too messy and too long for YouTube. So we made it short and we lead to what's TCCRB on that we had searches.
So in preparation for the interview, we try to find a balance between information and film. So we had to research different interview formats. We had to use videos online as reference to how to set up an interview. We decided different interview questions and we had to decide on, and in the end, we chose yes to Applewhite because we were able to see it in detail and we wanted other people our age to know the same process. During the interview, we each had our own job, like setting up, working lights, keeping track of the cameras. Everyone was quiet on the set. So later on, we found out what's to make it continue even after our internship ended. So we wanted a way to memorialize our work and the way we founded these projects. So we discussed many names that everyone loved, but in the end, we settled on 8 Big Bears because there's 8 pieces of bears, 8 big on us. So after the interview and editing, we got trained by the Best Buy Tech Team for the attendees Adobe Premiere, and we have to sync up sound and camera quality. We worked on making the video easy to understand. And later on, we also worked on logos. We wanted what's T to have an identifiable logo, but we didn't want it to take away from the videos itself. So We focused on the color scheme, the font, where the logo would go, how much space it would take up, and improving each draft was a group effort amongst all of us. So moving on to final edits, we had to include an intro and video. We had to decide how much time it would take, which clips to use, the order of the clips, the background music, make sure the music doesn't go on out of voices, basically up text and turn extra. All decisions were made to appeal to the public but stay informational. We proudly present to you what's CCRB.
You're here at What's CCRB?
To change how we do communications with other young people going forward. So it's really a major job you guys did.
Yes. Who supervised it? Who supervised? Oh, really? Good job.
All right, let's do this before it goes out again.
Have to vote on anything?
You're here at What's CCRB?
North Road made this.
I'm your host, William, and today's tea is with Andrea Applewhite, the Chief Data Prosecution Unit at the New York City Civilian Complaint Review Board.
And you can call me Andre. I'm really not that old.
All right, Andre. We'll be talking about Andre's journey to the CCRB and how the APU plays a role in police oversight. Did you always want to be a lawyer and why?
Oh no, I didn't want to be a lawyer until later on in life. Believe it or not, I wanted to be an actor. So I went to West Virginia University as an acting major. So I was acting and dancing and doing a little bit of singing, and I enjoyed it a lot. And then I transferred from West Virginia University after a year, and I attended Pace University, which is not far from here. And I started taking up a few political science classes, a few history classes. I started reading, authors like James Baldwin and Malcolm X, and really digging into the civil rights movement. And I was a student at Pace, and I was working at an organization called the Legal Aid Society. And at the Legal Aid Society, I was working for a division called the Criminal Defense Division. And I got to see a lot of, the lawyers and what they do and how they represented people who couldn't afford to represent themselves. And that's what sort of hooked me into thinking that this is something that I really want to do. And so I tied that experience at the Legal Aid Society with what happened in my community, and it sort of meshed together. And I decided, I think it's a good idea that I become a lawyer. And I wanted to make sure that I was doing criminal defense work, like public interest work. So that was my sort of push-pull factor in wanting to become a lawyer.
Thank you.
So, hi everyone. My name is Marwa Rigi. I'm the Director of Intergovernmental Affairs at the CCRB, and I want to end this segment to highlight the amazing summer interns that I had. Unfortunately, their internship ended last week, so they couldn't be with us here today. But I want to give a really big shout out to Thomas Rose, a college junior that was studying government, and also a former CCRB Youth Advisory Council member, Shyla Chandler, who's also a college junior, and she's studying criminal justice and cybersecurity, and is a future law student. And lastly, Milan Bazinia, a rising high school junior and a current CCRB Youth Advisory Council member. And some of the amazing work that they did over the course of the internship with me is they did several research projects, including researching city legislation, researching civilian oversight and legislation in major cities across the country. They also attended and observed city council hearings. We also attended a CCRB APU trial. We observed city charter revision hearings, and just learned so much about the process of revising the city charter. They also learned a lot more about the CCRB's various departments. And then lastly, they worked on our upcoming CCRB Youth podcast that's going to be created and hosted by our Youth Advisory Council. So they did amazing work this summer. And I just wanted to share a little bit about that. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mara. Dr. Khalid, before you move on, I just wanted to apologize to everyone for the technical difficulties that you had to sit through, and thank you for sticking with us. And I also want to thank the interns who are here today for your hard work. And again, it's going to change, along with the other interns who couldn't be here today. It's going to change how we communicate with other folks your age. And I'm excited to take the legacy of what you all did and use it going forward. So thank you.
Thank you.
One more slide? Last slide, okay.
So while we get the last slide together, this was not all done in a vacuum. I'm immensely proud of our SYP interns, our Youth Advisory Council, and all the young people we work with over the summertime. We do want to make sure we give thanks where it's due. We definitely want to give thanks to the programs that work with us within the units that work with us within the CCRB, comms unit, MIS unit, APU unit, investigation unit, and racial profiling and bias-based policing. We also worked with the Best Buy tech team, Grant Street Settlement, and Chase Bank. And then lastly, I want to make sure that we give a lot of credit to MTAC, Manhattan Transition Careers and College. They trusted their young people with us, and if you give them resources, you give them support, you see what they can do. Thank you all very much, and I really have an honor to work with you all.
Thank you, Jay. And interns, any board member has any question on this?
I just want to say I'm impressed. I was looking forward I gotta see the whole thing. I want to see the whole thing, the whole interview. I mean, I seen Arbor up there. I want to see all of it. Where is it located? Where can we watch it?
In the vault.
Hasn't been posted yet.
It's in the vault.
So the very first video was a pilot for us to understand what we can do. So the next one that we're going to do, we'll pick another person to interview, and that one will then go on YouTube. We'll have a further discussion regarding editing and the final cut of it, but those will be live on YouTube once the agency is approved of it.
Can I be tagged in it? It's really good.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Any other member has any question? Any board member? So we're all thankful to you, and we have a next item in the agenda is that we'll start with the public comments, which will be in the virtual, and then we'll go in person. So Yohara, whenever you're ready for the first person, to please put them on.
Thank you, Chair. Just want to give folks just 1 second. I don't see any hands raised at the moment.
Good, keep it that way.
I'm gonna assume that there are no virtual comments at this time, so we can move on to in-person comment.
Okay, thank you very much.
And Yahira, you're gonna call on some folks first before we ask people to line up?
Yes.
Excellent.
So, thank you, John. So first, we will be hearing from Ushto Rosario.
Good afternoon. My name is Victor Rosario, and I'm the brother of Gwen Rosario. I was 17 when my brother was.
We can't hear him.
So guys, can you raise the microphone? Is that doable? We're working on it, Mr. Williams.
Thank you. And please switch sign language interpreters. Thank you.
My name is Victor Rosario, and I'm the brother of Gwen Rosario. I was 17, and my brother was also a teenager.
Was killed by NYPD officers Salvatore Alonghi and Matthew Cianfranco. It's been 17 months since my brother Win was stolen from my family, since I was a witness to his murder. 3 things that I want to make really clear to you, the CCRB board. My brother was a great person with a pure heart. Win wasn't just my brother, he was my best friend and a role model. He loved animals and they loved him back, especially our cat. Even though she was my cat, she liked Win more. Now I watch my cat paw his pictures instead of watching Win live his dreams. Win should be alive, and he would have if Alonghi and Cianfranco never came to our house. When Cianfranco and Alonghi got to our house, it didn't seem like they really cared about Win. They asked me questions outside of the house, and less than a minute they cut me off multiple times when I started answering the questions. While outside of our house, they used derogatory language, but they never asked if my brother was safe or if anybody else in the house was safe. or any questions about the apartment's layout, or even if what Wayne was doing right then. Those are all basic questions they should have asked based on their protocol. It seems like all they cared about was rushing and getting inside. It didn't seem like they cared about my brother or my family. Once they got inside of our apartment, Alongi and Cianfranco was reckless and hyper aggressive. They didn't try to de-escalate things. What they did was make things worse. Before they got to our apartment, things were calm. My brother, my mom, and I were all safe. That changed once they came in. In less than 2 minutes, they killed my brother. They were hyper aggressive and reckless. They could have killed me and my mom too. I think the only person who tried to de-escalate the situation was my mom. There is a lot of things they did wrong and should be fired for. They are a danger to New Yorkers. I hope you hear my words and bring fireable charges to Longi and Cianfranco. Last thing I will say is, besides what Cianfranco and Alongi did, the other NYPD treated me and my mom like criminals right after they killed my brother. In days after, they made things harder for me, my family, and I. That's not right. My parents will talk more about that, and no family, loved ones who was killed by the NYPD should be treated like that.
Thank you for being here and speaking with us today. As a chair of the CCRB and proud member of the South Asian community, I know that we are an integral part of New York City. Together, we share in the problems and hardship that our neighbors faces. Tragically, we may lose family members from police violence. Tragically, we may also, which we saw last month, we may lose family members who are serving as a police officer who gave their life to protect us all. I promise you that this board will review the evidence in Wynn's death with same rigor and impartiality and will bring to every complaint that come before us. Thank you.
Next, we'll be hearing from Naughton Eva Costa.
Hello. Thank you.
আমার নাম নূতন ইভা কস্তা। আমি উইনের মা। গত বছর যখন আমার ছেলেকে হত্যা করা হলো,
Ms. Costa, you have to give the interpreter a chance.
আমার নাম নূতন ইভা কস্তা। আমি উইনের মা। গত বছর যখন আমার ছেলেকে হত্যা করা হলো, তখন থেকে আমি ভেঙে পড়েছি। আমি বুঝতে পারি না আমরা কিভাবে বেঁচে আছি উইনকে ছাড়া। মনে হয় সব সময় বুকের মধ্যে ভারী পাথর চাপা পড়ে আছে। এখনো মনে হয় কখন সে মা বলে ডাকবে। আমি বুঝতেই পারি না আমার হাসি মাখা ছেলেটার মুখটা কিভাবে এক মুহূর্তে শেষ হয়ে গেল।
I'm going to interpret for her. So my name is Notan Eva Costa. I'm Wynn's Rosario's mother. I have been devastated since Wynn was murdered last year, and I can't explain how we are living without Wynn. It feels like a stone is always pressing down on my chest. I feel like he's going to come and call me mom right now. How did his smiling face disappear in an instant?
সেদিন পুলিশ অফিসার সালভেদর আলঙ্গি এবং ম্যাথিউ সিয়ানফ্রাঙ্কো আমার বাড়িতে ঢুকলো। সেই 2 মিনিটের মধ্যেই আমার পুরো জীবনটা বদলে গেল। তারা আমার ছেলেকে আমার কাছ থেকে চিরতরে কেড়ে নিল।
So now's not the, Matt, now is not the time. Let's just go. We missed the window. Let it go the way it's going.
উইন তখন শান্ত ছিল এবং আমরা সবাই নিরাপদে ছিলাম, কিন্তু এই 2 অফিসার এসে পরিবেশ বিপজ্জনক করে তুলল এবং তারা বারবার এমন কাজ করলো যা পরিস্থিতি আরো খারাপ করলো। তারা এমন অনেক কিছু বলতে পারতো যাতে কাউকে আঘাত না করে পরিস্থিতি শান্ত করা যেত। অথচ আমি একজন মা, অফিসারদের ভয়ে থাকলেও আমি নিজেই চেষ্টা করেছিলাম সবাইকে শান্ত রাখতে, কিন্তু তারা পরিস্থিতি এমন ভাবে তাড়াতাড়ি বাড়িয়ে তুললো যে এক সময় তারা আমার ছেলেকে মেরে ফেললো।
When police officer Salvador Alongi and Matthew Cianfrocco came into our home, our whole life changed within minutes. When they took my son away from me forever, my son, Wayne, was calm and we were safe before the police arrived. And then very quickly, Officer Alongi and Cianfrocco created multiple dangerous crisis moments and violently escalated when they had many other choices of what they should have done. Even though I was scared of the officers, I was the one who was trying to calm down the situation, that they continued to escalate until they eventually killed my son.
ওই দিন অফিসার এলঙ্গি আর সিয়ান ফ্রাঙ্কো আমার ছেলেকে নির্মম ভাবে আমার সামনে ও আমার ছোট ছেলে উৎসর সামনে হত্যা করার পর তারা আমাদের হাসপাতালে যেতে দিল না, বরং আমাদের থানায় নিয়ে গেল। সেখানে আমাদের সঙ্গে কোনো সহানুভূতি ছিল না, শুধু নির্মমতা। আমার 17 বছর বয়সী ছেলে উৎস আর আমি তখন মানসিকভাবে বিধ্বস্ত। তবুও পুলিশ আমাদের জিজ্ঞাসাবাদ করলো, অথচ এই দুই অফিসার যারা আমার ছেলেকে হত্যা করলো তারা বরং নিরাপদে থাকলো। তাদের জিজ্ঞাসাবাদ করা হয়নি বহু মাস পর্যন্ত। তাদের তো আইনজীবীও বা উইনের প্রতিনিধি নিয়েও কথা বলার সুযোগ দেওয়া হয়, অথচ আমাদের সেই সুযোগ দেওয়া হয়নি।
So we're gonna give some extra time because of the interpretation that was provided.
Thank you. After officers Alongi and Cianfrocco brutally murdered my son in front of me and my younger son Utsho, the police forced us to go to the precinct instead of accompanying Wayne to the hospital. There was no compassion, only cruelty for how we were treated, and that too after what we had just witnessed. My son, who was 17 years old at the time, and I were interrogated by NYPD after we saw my other son get murdered. Meanwhile, we have learned that police like Alongi and Cianfrocco are usually given every courtesy and shielded from being immediately interrogated for the crime they committed. Sometimes for many months, sometimes then a year, and they are usually allowed to have their union representative or lawyer with them when they are questioned. It's wrong that after they killed my son Wayne, they wouldn't let me be with him. The NYPD treated me and my other son like criminals, while the police who killed my son and could have killed me and my other son were free.
আমার ছেলে উইনকে তো আর ফেরানো যাবে না, কিন্তু আমি আপনাদের সিসিআরবি বোর্ডের কাছে অনুরোধ করছি, অফিসার অ্যালঙ্গি ও সিয়ান ফ্রাঙ্কোর বিরুদ্ধে অভিযোগ প্রমাণ করুন এবং তাদের অবিলম্বে চাকরি থেকে বরখাস্ত করার দাবি তুলুন। আমি আপনাদের অনুরোধ করব যাতে আপনারা আমার লেখা ডেইলি নিউজ পড়েন, সেখানে আমি আমার এই 1 বছরের হৃদয় ভাঙা যন্ত্রণার কথা বলেছি। 1 বছর হয়ে গেছে উনকে হারিয়ে, আর আমার মনে হয় আমার জীবনের অর্ধেকটা হারিয়ে গেছে।
You can bring my son back, but I'm calling on you, the CCRB board, to bring misconduct charges against police officers Alongi and Cianfrocco, and for you to push that they should be immediately fired. I also urge you to read my article in the Daily News so you can understand my heartbreak over the past year. It has been over a year since Win has been killed, and it is an absolute injustice as a mother who feels like half of myself is missing every day.
I'm very sorry to hear about your son death. Thank you for being here to share your words with us. We know that you're in pain and we hear you. As I said earlier, it is our promise that the board will review all the evidence in your son's death rigorously and impartially. We owe that to your son and to all the New Yorkers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll be hearing from Francis Rosario.
So before Mr. Rosario speaks, I think we should use the simultaneous interpreter. We're gonna use, it shouldn't be like this where it's just one person reading a long time and then
Two sentences and then back and forth.
yeah, it's gotta be interpretation, not just like reading long tracks.
আমার নাম ফ্রান্সিস রোজারিও। আমি উইন রোজারিওর বাবা। গত ১.৫ বছরে আমার ছেলেকে ছাড়া আমার জীবন কেমন কেটেছে তা আমি কথায় প্রকাশ করতে পারি না।
My name is Francis Rosario, and I am the father of Win Rosario. I cannot express in words how my life has been during the past 1.5 years without Win.
আমি যখন কাজের জন্য বের হতাম আর যদি ভুলে তাকে বিদায় না দিতাম তখন সে খুব কষ্ট পেত।
When I used to go to work and forgot to say bye to him, he would feel extremely hurt.
এরকম অনেক স্মৃতি আছে যা আমার মনটা টুকরো টুকরো করে দেয়। কোনো মা বাবা এই ধরনের যন্ত্রণার স্মৃতি সহ্য করতে পারে না।
There are many such memories that break my heart into pieces. No parent can bear to remember such painful memories.
এ কারণেই আমি এখন আর বেশি স্মৃতি মনে করতে চাই না, কারণ আমি যখন ভেঙে পড়ি শক্ত থাকতে পারি না। আমি আপনাদের কাছে অনুরোধ করছি আমাদের পরিবারের জন্য দোয়া করুন যাতে আমরা ন্যায় বিচার পাই এবং যারা দোষী পুলিশ অফিসার তাদের উপযুক্ত শাস্তি হয়।
That's why I don't want to recall his memories too much anymore, because I can't stay strong when I do. Please just pray for our family so that we get justice and proper punishment for the guilty police officers.
যদিও আমি উইনের মৃত্যুর সময় সেখানে উপস্থিত ছিলাম না, আমি দেখেছি এনওয়াইপিডি কিভাবে আমার পরিবারকে পরে আচরণ করেছে।
While I was not present when Win was killed, I saw how the NYPD treated my families afterwards when they treated my wife and son like criminals.
তারা আমার স্ত্রী আর ছেলেকে অপরাধীর মতো জেরা করেছে। তারা আমাদের অ্যাপার্টমেন্টে ঢুকতে দেয়নি। আমরা আমাদের পোষা বিড়ালকে খাওয়াতে পারিনি, দরকারি ঔষধ দিতে পারিনি, এমনকি আমাদের জামা কাপড়ও আনতে পারিনি।
So my wife and son like criminals by interrogating them and then did not allow us to get our cat, feed our cat, get our essential medications, or get our clothes from our apartment.
আমার স্ত্রীর আর ছেলেকে এত বড় ট্রমা সহ্য করতে হয়েছে, অথচ এরপরেও আমাদের বাড়িতে ঢুকতে দেওয়া হয়নি। আমরা খুব কষ্টে অন্য কোথাও থাকার ব্যবস্থা করেছিলাম। যদি পাবলিক অ্যাডভোকেট জুমানে উইলিয়ামসের অফিস হস্তক্ষেপ না করত, তাহলে আমরা আরো বেশি দিন ঘরে ফিরতে পারতাম না। যখন কয়েকদিন পর আমাদের ঘরে ঢুকতে দেওয়া হলো, তখন দেখি পুরো ঘর জুড়ে আমার ছেলের উইনের রক্ত।
After this major traumatic experience that my wife and son had witnessed, we were not allowed back into our house and were forced to scramble to find another place to stay. If it wasn't for Public Advocate Jumani Williams' office intervening, we would have been kept out of our home for longer. And then when we were finally allowed back into our home days later, our home was covered in our son Win's blood.
NYPD একবারও ঘর পরিষ্কার করার কথা ভাবেনি, বরং একটি কমিউনিটি সংগঠন ড্রাম এসে ঘর পরিষ্কার করেছে। এটা ছিল সম্পূর্ণ অমানবিক এবং মেনে নেওয়ার মতো না। একটা ট্র্যাজেডির পর আমাদের আরো ট্রমার মুখে ফেলেছে।
The NYPD did not even bother to care about cleaning up, and instead a community organization, DRUM, cleaning up. This was utter cruelty and unacceptable. To have to face trauma after losing my son.
আমি CCRB বোর্ডের কাছে আবেদন জানাচ্ছি, শুধু আমার ছেলেকে হত্যাকারী পুলিশ অফিসারদের বরখাস্ত না করে সেই NYPD কর্মকর্তাদের বিরুদ্ধেও ব্যবস্থা নিন।
We are calling on you, the CCRB board, not only to fire the police who killed my son Wayne, but also to discipline and release the name of the NYPD officials.
যারা আমাদের পরিবারের সাথে এমন নিষ্ঠুর আচরণ করেছে, তাদের নাম প্রকাশ করুন এবং শাস্তি দিন, যাতে আর কোনো পরিবারের সঙ্গে এরকম না ঘটে।
Who allowed this cruel treatment to happen to my family so that this doesn't happen to another family.
আমি নিজে ক্যামেরার ফুটেজে আমার ছেলের হত্যা দেখেছি। এটা হৃদয় বিদারক। বিশ্বাস করতে কষ্ট হয় যে সালভাদর অ্যালঞ্জি ও ম্যাথিউ সিয়াফাঙ্কো নামের অফিসাররা এখনো গ্রেপ্তার হয়নি।
I have seen the heart-wrenching body camera footage of my son's murder and cannot believe that Officer Salvador Alongi and Matthew Cianfrocco still haven't been arrested.
এই ট্রমা আমরা প্রতিদিন সহ্য করছি। আমি এতটাই ভেঙে পড়েছি যে CCRB স্টাফদের সঙ্গে দেখা করার সময় পর্যন্ত আমার প্যানিক অ্যাটাক হয়েছে এবং আমি অজ্ঞান হয়ে গিয়েছি।
This is a trauma that we have to live through every day, and I have literally not been able to physically handle it because I have had panic attacks and passed out even while meeting with CCRB staff.
আমি জানি CCRB সরাসরি কাউকে গ্রেপ্তার করতে পারে না, তবে আমি চাই আপনারা এই ঘটনার গুরুত্ব বুঝুন এবং এলএনজি ও সিয়ানফ্রাঙ্কোর গুরুত্ব আচরণের ব্যাপারে কঠোর ব্যবস্থা নিন।
While I know that the CCRB can only recommend discipline and are not criminal prosecutors, I hope you take this case seriously and substantiate Alongi and Cianfrocco's serious misconduct at the highest levels.
আমি CCRB বোর্ডের কাছে আহ্বান জানাচ্ছি, আপনারা NYPD কে বলুন যাতে অফিসার এলএনজি ও সিয়ানফ্রাঙ্কোকে অবিলম্বে বরখাস্ত করা হয় এবং তাদের ডিসিপ্লিনারি প্রসিকিউশন যত দ্রুত সম্ভব করা হয়।
I'm calling on you, the CCRB board, to push for the firing of Alongi and Cian Froco and move forward on their discipline prosecution as soon as possible.
I'm sorry about your son, Mr. Rosario, and thank you for being here and telling us in your words. We are aware of your pain. And as I said before, it's our promise that this board will do whatever best we can do under the law and will investigate your son's death rigorously and impartially. We definitely owe to him and to all the New Yorkers doing a job which the law permits us to do. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And again, I'm sorry.
Next, we'll be hearing from Valerie Bell.
This is the mic, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I always give honor and glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's why I'm here today. I thank you all for doing your work and pray that you continue to do the right thing. My name is Valerie Bell. I'm the mother of Sean Bell, who many of you probably know was murdered by NYPD officers in a hail of 50 bullets on what should have been his wedding day in 2006. I'm also a minister of justice at Community Church of Christ, Jamaica, New York, and a member of the Justice Committee. That goes hand in hand. It's been almost 20 years since my son was killed, and I've been fighting for justice since. Not only for Sean, but for others who've been unjustly killed by the NYPD. Today, I'm speaking in support of Wynn Rosario's family and their demands for the CCRB to sustain misconduct charges against officers Salvatore Alongi and Matthew Cianfrocco, and for them to be fired as soon as possible. When Rosario was a teenager, a child, murdered in what should have been the safety of his home, in front of his mother and little brother in under 2 minutes. That's a horror I can't imagine witnessing. I wasn't at my son's execution, but I can understand some of the pain Wynn's family is going through, especially because it's been over a year and Alongi and Cianfrocco still haven't been fired. After my son was murdered by the NYPD, it took almost 6 agonizing years for just one officer who killed him to be fired. And not all involved in Sean's murder were ever disciplined. It was 5 total officers. To add insult to injury, Sean's character was torn apart by the NYPD and the media, similar to what the NYPD has tried to do to Wynn Rosario. Like Sean, the NYPD has tried to blame Wynn for his own death, when we all know Wynn would be alive today if Alongi and Cianfrocco hadn't come. When Sean was killed, you as the CCRB didn't have the authority to do discipline prosecutions. You have that authority now, and I'm calling on you to use your powers to the fullest extent to help make sure Alongi and Cianfrocco are fired. I've been active in public safety and police accountability issues for years. I'm ashamed, though not surprised, by the way the NYPD and Eric Adams' administration have continuously blocked transparency and accountability and left Wynn's family waiting. Alongi and Cianfrocco need to be fired. Me and other families whose loved ones were killed by NYPD will be watching, and we're urging you as the CCRB to sustain misconduct charges against Alongi and Cianfrocco so they can be fired as soon as possible. To the family, I know this is hard, but continue to fight. Don't back down. We will stay fighting for you, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. For many years, you have spoken eloquently about your son's death and the role of civilian oversight of police. We know that's difficult, and I personally wish to thank you for sharing your thoughts. The board will rigorously investigate this case just as we do in all other cases. Thank you for you being here.
Next, we'll be hearing from Hawa Ba.
Ms. Ba, if you could tilt the microphone up a little, I think. maybe. Jai, can you help Ms. Ba with the microphone?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Hawaba. I'm the mother of Hawaba. He was killed by the NYPD in 2012. When I have not stopped fighting for justice for my son and all those like killed by the NYPD, including Zario. Before NYPD killed him, Mohammed Ba was sick and I know he need help. I called 911 and them for ambulance, but the police came instead. The police came and tried him, treat him like a criminal. I begged them to let me talk to my son, but they refused. Instead, NYPD officer forced the way into his apartment, shoot Mohammed 8 times. While I was stopped outside. The NYPD execute my son in his own home when he needed help. That was over 10 years ago. When I heard what's happening to Win, it broke my heart. It broke my heart to think of the mother. It makes me so sad. That seemed like nothing was changed. Last year, too, the NYPD officer executed Wayne Rosario in his own home. When he should receive a cure like me. When mother also begging the police to stop, but they refuse and the shoot Wayne lasts 5 minutes in front his and her youngest son. The mother or brother or family should not have this loved one should from them by the police, and they have by the police. And when I have fight so hard, just try to make sure the police are fire. This is happening over and over because no one is held accountable. If the police who murder are fire or are fire, the next will be more careful. Next will be more careful. The CCIB was not able to offer justice for my son Mohammed Ba. 10 years after murder, the CCRB closed the investigation because all the officers involved had already retired, but the CCRB promised me that you will do best in the future. I am asking you to keep your promise. I am calling on you as the CCIB submitted misconduct against this police for killing Wayne Rosario. And I am calling on you to help make sure all along Wayne Rosario, I am calling on you to help make sure along the carefully are fire. Carefully are fire. This is just for Wayne Rosario now, but for the future, so the NYPD stop strengthening life for our children. We, the mothers, the families, will never be the same after the murder of our loved one. Please keep your promise to me and to make sure the two police are fire that will mother and family care now. Some please. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ba. We are really sorry about your loss. And thank you for sharing your perspective to our board. We certainly recognize your pain and we acknowledge the strength of your being here with us. The board reviews all the cases with the utmost care and within the law, guided by law. And we'll keep on doing as an impartiality with all the cases like yours and other cases. So thank you being here for your guidance to us. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Next, we'll be hearing from Simra Thind.
My name is Simran Thind, and I am an organizer with Drum, Daisy's Rising Up and Moving. We have been standing alongside the family since Wynn was murdered over a year ago, and I would like to bring up a few points. Firstly, as someone who has seen the gut-wrenching, body-worn camera footage multiple times,
Mr. Chair, this body has not yet received this case. We know nothing about this case. We will have to objectively try to review this case. Why are we now being subjected to all the facts of this case? It's like coming before a jury, before a trial. It is like coming before a judge, before a trial.
It's a public hearing.
It's a public hearing, but I really believe we as a board are being seriously compromised by having all these facts presented to us for a case that we have not yet heard, a case that we will have to hear down the road, and a case where we will have to make an honest decision. But before we've even seen a single fact of this case, we are being presented with this very well orchestrated presentation. Condolences to the family. I grieve for your loss, but I don't believe this is the way this can be presented. And I believe this body will suffer in the public view as we try and review this case. That's my piece. If I may, if I may, if I may,
Please,
if I may, one first, I would thank the families coming in for your forbearance and for whatever you've been through. And there's no other better place than right here, right now at this time. Do not discontinue. Do not be dismayed. And please, I think that we're in a place that we want to understand, regardless of what time is, this happened 19 years ago with Valerie Bell. Okay, so we did view that case. So we can't judge all the cases. If we're saying some cases we'll look at, there's 4 cases we looked at already. So please, if I may, as a board member, suggest that we continue. If it takes till 9 o'clock this evening.
thank you.
please proceed.
Firstly, as someone who has seen the gut-wrenching, body-worn camera footage multiple times, it is clear that the officers Alongi and Cianfrocco were reckless and hyper-aggressive, and they created chaos and crisis multiple times when they should have been de-escalating. One example of this was when Wynn's mother had taken the scissors from Wynn. At one point, Wynn even put his hands up, even though Alongi and Cianfrocco never asked him to do that. For the approximately 30 seconds where Wynn didn't have scissors, Alongi and Cianfrocco never tried to take the scissors. They didn't ask for the scissors. They didn't try to talk to Wynn or ask him questions. They didn't try to restrain Wynn. They didn't try to calm the situation. Instead, they both violently tased Wynn when he was standing calmly with nothing in his hands and with Wynn's mother near him. All of these examples are against NYPD's own patrol guide and protocols. There are only 3 situations that the NYPD permits tasing, and this situation did not meet the criteria. Alongi and Cianfrocco clearly violated their training and NYPD protocols in many ways, not only in the examples that I have named, and are a danger to New Yorkers and should be fired. Alongi and Cianfrocco were 2 large armed men, and Wynn was a teenage boy with his mom and younger brother. Alongi and Cianfrocco acted without regard for the safety of Wynn, his mother, or his brother. They were hyper-aggressive and reckless. Secondly, I want to highlight the devastation that this family has faced, which is a travesty. As an organizer working closely with the family, I want to emphasize that the Rosarios will hold the pain of this vicious loss every day for the rest of their lives, as they have already shared in their public comments. This is not something that's abstract. This is a real life that was violently taken, not just another case on a piece of paper. Think about if this happened to your son or brother in your home, being locked out of your home and thinking about how to survive for the next few days. If these officers can get away with doing this to Wynn, what will stop them from taking away your child or your sibling? Thirdly, I want to acknowledge the people who have come out to this meeting, both here and in the overflow room, who many of the board cannot see. Working class New Yorkers, South Asian and Indo-Caribbean folks, and people who have lived in the neighborhood Wynn lived in. The reason why we are here is because we as a community are here to support and stand strongly behind the Rosario family. We want you to know that we are watching, and we as a community will continue to fight alongside the Rosarios. So we are calling upon you, the CCRB board, to bring misconduct charges to Fire Longi and Cianfrocco. Do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you being here, and we promise that we'll look into the case as properly as we can within the law. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll be hearing from Sammy Feliz.
Thank you much for your time, for everyone who's here. My condolences to the family of Win Rosario, and I am here and I'll always be here to support you. First, I want to say that I'm in full support of the family of Win Rosario and echo the call for the CCRB staff and board to do the right thing by substantiating multiple misconduct allegations to ensure that the cops who killed Win are fired. I also want to touch on the base that within this room, when we're talking about the lost lives of workers and a family who is sitting here who has been fighting for over a year, it's kind of shameful to bring up an officer who was just recently murdered and compare that to their family's loss. I think it's two distant situations for two distinct motives. And we do also feel for the family of that officer as well who was taken, because that was a tragedy. And we understand that to be one. But I don't think it was the right time to bring that up during this hearing. Just my perspective. I also want to bring up that on the 3rd of July, right before a long holiday weekend, New York Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch issued a preliminary decision to overturn Deputy Commissioner Maldonado's guilty verdict against Lieutenant Jonathan Rivera for killing my brother, Alan Feliz. From what I understood and from what was explained to us, this was Tisch's preliminary decision, and we know that to be politically motivated and corrupt, right? It disregarded the facts in the case of Maldonado's findings and that Rivera lied on the stand during the NYPD trial in order to protect himself. Since then, my family, the Justice Committee, and other organizations and New Yorkers have been demanding that Tisch reverse this course and uphold the guilty verdict and fire Lieutenant Rivera. Like I said, it was our understanding that the July 3rd communication from the commissioner regarding this case was a preliminary decision, and that based on the CCRB, NYPD memorandum of understanding, the CCRB had 5 days to issue a response, in which you did on July 11th. It has now been over a month since the CCRB filed its response, and we have heard nothing more from the Commissioner Tisch at this point. It seems to me and my family like one of two things is happening. The NYPD is either dragging its feet yet again, prolonging my family's suffering before issuing a final response, or worse yet, that Tisch is going to completely ignore the process laid out in the memorandum of understanding, and instead that she issued her decision on July the 3rd as a final ruling without ever intending to actually consider the CCRB's response. Either of those options is totally unacceptable. I'm here to ask, the CCRB has the CCRB heard anything from Commissioner Tisch and the NYPD regarding the response you submitted on July 11th? Do you think that Tisch will follow the process outlined by the Memorandum of Understanding, consider your response, and issue a final decision, or will she ignore the Memorandum of Understanding altogether? What will you do to ensure that the Commissioner follows the Memorandum of Understanding and issues a final decision that respects Maldonado's guilty verdict? I want you guys to all understand. I know once I get off of this mic, Dr. Khalil, you're going to tell me how hard it is for me and my family, how you understand how much we've been going through. I've been hearing that for 6 years. What I understand and what I want you to understand is that the process that I went through and am going through, and now that the Rosario family has gone through, that the Bells have gone through, and that the Boss have gone through, is a process that is traumatizing. No human can go through this kind of experience for years without feeling like your back is up against the wall, right? And that's all of these city officials, and we're asking from all of these city officials to provide us the help, the understanding that we need in order to be successful and have the safest city. But those city officials that we feel like that are there to help us and benefit us, seems like they're all in cahoots with the NYPD, with the Lieutenants Union, to continue to harm us and to turn a deaf ear and a blind eye. And I challenge you guys to not say that you're going to do better, but actually do better. And to hold folks like Police Commissioner Tisch, who thinks that they can write their own laws and follow their own trajectory to their semblance of justice, we have to disprove them and tell them that they're wrong and show them that the law was written in a structure for us to follow, and that no one oversees that law, not even if you're the police commissioner and you have the final say. I thank you all for your time.
Mr. Felix, you're right that you lost your brother, and we are really support you for that. You know that the board has substantiated this case. We went through a trial, and whatever we did on our part, we follow the law, whatever is necessary to do the trial, and the police commissioner's deputy commissioner did what was supposed to be done. And we are still waiting. I will give you an update by telling John to give us after we submitted everything.
So Sammy, your recitation of the timeline is correct. On July 3rd, the police commissioner gave us a preliminary decision that indicated she was going to overturn Deputy Commissioner Maldonado's recommendation to find Lieutenant Rivera guilty and fire him from the police department. On July 11th, we submitted our letter as required under the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding between the NYPD and the CCRB, that laid out all the reasons why the CCRB had proved Lieutenant Rivera had committed misconduct when he killed your brother. And we urged her to reconsider and to, in fact, find Lieutenant Rivera guilty and fire him from the police department. So we, just as you have been waiting for the final determination. And I will reach out tomorrow. To be honest, at the end of the meeting today, I'm going to call over, but I imagine I will call over again tomorrow and see if I can get an update on what happened so we can let you know the final determination in this case. If there is one, it may be that she's still deliberating.
That is the fear. I'll speak up since I'm not near the mic. That's the biggest.
Come on the mic. Yeah, for me and for all New Yorkers, that is the biggest fear, right? Because we have that memorandum of understanding. So if said police commissioner states that she's already made a final decision, that's a backhand smack to everyone who's on this board. That means that all of the work that you guys do and fight for and advocate for is meaningless and worthless because Jessica Tisch deems it so. And if that happens this year, then what's going to happen next year with the next police commissioner, and so on and so forth? Are we going to allow and continue to allow for every that comes in a police commissioner to continue to take and strip the CCRB of power and authority when we know that what the city needs is to possibly give you It's more authority. Allow you guys or somebody or a separate entity to be able to discipline these police officers because it's not happening in New York City. My brother was the second case in New York City history in order that they got a substantiated fireable charge on this officer. And this police commissioner took that 5 years, 6 years of hard work, and of New Yorkers fighting for their loved ones to hold these cops accountable, and she threw all of that away. For political favors, for a better seat next year, hey, I don't know. I'm not in these meetings. You guys enlighten me. But what I'm saying is that us as New Yorkers, we're not going to allow that to continue. We have this entity of the CCRB that's supposed to be our carriage to justice when an officer breaks the law. This carriage has broken wheels on it. The CCRB to be able to not only pick up the case from the beginning, but to put the dot on the end of that sentence once you guys find that transgression to be had, once you find the discipline to be merited and not constitutional for the person who it happened to. So not only say that these officers broke the law, but execute with what comes after that. Not hand it over to the next person who does not care about the work that you guys did and the effort that was put in and whitewashes everything that happened. I'm sorry, I'm speaking longer than my 4 minutes, John. You know how I do. I love to talk. And I welcome you guys. I have cards in my pocket. If anyone of you guys want to have a sit-down conversation, my phone number is available. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next, we'll be hearing from Shamsha Nahar.
Just one second.
Esmeralda wanted.
Board member has a question.
I am very, very moved by your clear enunciation of what you see the situation is in New York City. Believe me, those of us who labor on this side understand it. The whole idea of the memorandum of understanding was to put an end to that nonsense. We're waiting just like you to see what happens. But so far, the track record has been poor. I will once again advocate publicly for the CCRB to have final adjudication authority. I said it before I came on this board, and I'm saying it again. It makes no sense to have an independent commission that just hands it back over to NYPD. In the meanwhile, I labor.
Thank you.
Yahira.
Next, we'll be hearing from Shamshan Nahar.
Shahai, can you help her with the, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Shamsul Nahar, and I am a Bengali boy. When I first heard the news about what happened to my mind immediately went to his mother, even with witness present. His son was murdered in front of you by supposed to serve and protect you. As a mother, I cannot imagine the nightmare that Eva has to live for every day knowing that her son was ripped away from her so violently and in front of her. It has been over a year, and these officers are still earning a salary and have faced no discipline. Meanwhile, the Rosario's family's life has changed completely, knowing that these officers took Eva's son's life and continue to make consequence. Make me afraid to even call the 911 because I don't want to lose my son and I want to protect my son.
with this officer killed the teenage boys with less than in front of his mother and brother and all entire family without consequence. What stop any other officer from doing this to another family and myself? Because of this, I am here not only to support the family, but calling on you, the CCRB, sustaining Salvador Alongi and fire these officers right now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay, thanks.
Next, we'll be hearing from Shashanka.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sashanka. I'm a sophomore in college, and today I'm here in support of Win Rosario's family and their call to hold the officers who killed Win accountable. I remember hearing about the killing of Win last year, and hearing it from my organizer from Drum, it was shuddering. I felt scared just listening to the events that happened, and I felt the same fear when Wynn's family was reciting the events today. There was absolutely no justification for the officers to escalate the situations as they did, and it shows a clear lack of ability for them to handle cases relating to mental health. There was a visual held for Wynn in April of last year, and I was making calls to other youths to mobilize them to attend this vigil, and I was explaining to them what had happened to Wynn. I could feel from the phone calls a sense of fear and like they were scared as well, because I'm calling youths who are the same age as Wynn, same age as me, and they feel a sense of relation to Wynn because we're the same age. And in our minds, if this could happen to Wynn, then this could happen to us as well. And while I'm having to repeat these calls to multiple people, it didn't get any easier to tell the gruesome story of Wynn's death. And so I can only imagine the pain that Wynn's family is currently facing to have to continue to fight the NYPD and the justice system that has failed to deliver on them the most basic justice for their son. It is incredibly shameful that the cops have faced hardly any repercussions and they still continue to be employed by the NYPD. I don't feel safe as a youth knowing that. Our demands have remained unchanged. We call on you, the CCRB board, to substantiate the charges against the officers, Matthew Cianfrocco and Salvatore Alonghi, and fire these officers. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. Thank you.
Next, we'll be hearing from Sumana Hariharswa.
Hello, Suman Harihareshwara.
Sorry, can you speak up a little bit?
Hello, Suman Harihareshwara. Is that loud enough?
Yeah.
And I'm in Queens. I'm here to support the family of Rosario. I urge the CCRB to take a look at the case as soon as you can and take appropriate action. I don't have much to say that hasn't already been said.
Thank you for your comment.
Next, we'll be hearing from Kavi Pandian.
Is this loud? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Kavi Pandian. I live in Brooklyn, and I'm here to speak in support of the Rosario family and demand that this board do everything within its power to actually bring justice and accountability
As we've heard today, this entire process has been agonizing for the Rosario family. They've had to watch their child be murdered. They were treated cruelly and disrespectfully in the aftermath. And frankly, none of that is surprising. That's all, if anyone has paid any attention to how the NYPD has operated in this city, all of that makes total sense. And this board does not have the ability to bring full justice to the family. This board can't bring Wynn back to life. This board can't fix the trauma that his family has undergone. But this board does have the ability to actually bring forward a recommendation that these officers, that Salvatore and Matthew, lose their jobs and not be allowed to continue to bring terror to other residents of New York. At best, they're incompetent and they were cowards. They were terrified of a teenager with a pair of scissors and had to tase and then shoot him afterwards. At worst, they're vicious bullies who were thrilled to have a chance to use their power to execute someone in cold blood in front of their entire family. And again, this board is not going to be able to bring criminal charges. This board is not powerful enough to do what is required for true justice. But what little power it does have, I hope that this board will actually utilize for the sake of the Rosario family, and that unlike so many other cases where this board and its investigators have brought forward findings where they have asked that, they've brought forward findings of misconduct, I hope this board will not overturn those findings. I hope this board will actually act in accordance with its mandate and not allow board members to just wave that away because of their own support for the NYPD or their own past experiences, as we've seen has happened per reputable reporting from outlets like Hellgate about, the things that two specific board members have done in the past. So I look forward to this board actually doing what they're supposed to do, not allowing members Fox and Smith to overturn all the hard work of the rest of the board, and to do what's right for the Rosario family. Thank you.
Well, I assure the Rosario family that the CCRB will do their best, utmost best, following the law, and investigate fully to make sure that whatever we can do as a civilian complaint review board, we'll do our best as law permitting. So we really feel your pain, and we look forward to investigating this case, and the board members this will be a full board case, so the whole board will look into it. And so I just want to wish you that we will do anything possible in our power.
Next, we'll be hearing from Shelly Taslima.
Hi, I'm Shelly Taslima. I'm coming from Brooklyn. Actually, I don't know good to speak English. If somebody help me, so very good for me, please. In Bengali. Okay, thank you so much. আমি নিউইয়র্কে অনেকদিন যাবত আছি, প্রায় 30 years. তো আমি আমার ছেলে, আমার হাজবেন্ড এবং মায়ের সঙ্গে বসবাস করছি।
My name is Shelly Taslima, and I'm living here in USA for 30 years with my husband and me and my son.
আমার মা অনেক অসুস্থ, খুব বেশি অসুস্থ, বাট আমি অ্যাম্বুলেন্স কল করে সাহস পাই না। রোজারিওর ঘটনাটা আমার সবসময় চোখে লাগে, বিকজ আমি একজন মা।
My mother is very sick, but I'm scared to call 911 after I have seen Rosario's fact that happened. So I'm scared to call 911, but my mother is very sick.
My mom is still sit down here, and she don't like nursing home. She like live with me. But I can last week my mom is fall down, but I cannot call 911 because I know first time coming in English. All time I remember that Rosario's happened.
So, ma'am.
So আমি সবসময় শঙ্কায় থাকি জন্য।
You want me to?
I think the last thing we need translated.
I'm শঙ্কায় থাকি।
Okay, because I'm always scared that whenever I'm gonna call 911, the police will arrive first. And my mom is very sick, and last week she fell down, but still I'm scared to call.
সো আমি এখানে সাপোর্ট করার জন্য এসেছি, কিন্তু এটা করে দিতে চাই, এটা কিন্তু ফার্স্ট ঘটনা না, এর আগে এরকম অনেক ঘটনা হয়েছে। রোজারিওর এই ঘটনাগুলো যদি সুবিচার করা না হয়, ফিউচারে আরো এরকম হবে, আমার সঙ্গে হবে, আমার প্রতিবেশীর সঙ্গে হবে, বন্ধুর সঙ্গে হবে।
Here I have come to support Rosario's family, and Rosario's fact is not the only thing that happened. If we do not get justice for Rosario, then it will happen again and again. It will happen with me, with my neighbor and other people.
থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ। আমি আশা করছি এটা সুবিচার হবে।
I hope that we all will get justice.
Please do not feel not to call 911. You must call. The police is here to protect the citizen of this city. So you have CCRB here as well. And so whenever something happens, you make a call to us. And that's what this agency does.
By the way, আমি একটা ঘটনা জানি, একটা পেশেন্ট পড়ে গিয়েছিল, তার বাসায় পুলিশ এসে বলেছে তোমাকে কেউ পিছন দিকে পুশ করেছে। সো আমাকে সবসময় অ্যালার্ট থাকতে হয় রোজারির ঘটনার পরিপ্রেক্ষিতে।
I know another fact that someone fell at own home and police arrived and asked like if someone has pushed you. So because of Rosario's story and other things, I'm scared about all these.
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Next, we'll be hearing from Michael Myers.
Thank you. I'm Michael Myers, President of the New York Civil Rights Coalition. The presentations today, and I understand the reticence on the part of some of us to hear it over and over and over again. But we can never get tired as a board, as a community, as a New Yorkers, of hearing the pain that New Yorkers feel because of the outrageous, atrocious behavior or misbehavior of the officers of the law. They're supposed to protect people's lives, not take them, not do irresponsible conduct. So when I hear members of the public who come here and to remind us, and not that we need reminding, but to remind us that there are people out there in uniform with badges and guns who are not doing the right thing, and they must be held accountable, and they must be brought to justice. And so when I hear from Sammy and others that this board has done the right thing and substantiated the complaints through your processes, and it goes to the police commissioner, the next or the final police commissioner we have under this mayor, this Tish, when it goes to them for her, and you have substantiated the problems, she still ignores them. She ignores you. She ignores New Yorkers. She ignores the people of New York. In what guise? Because she's police commissioner? To hell with that. And I say to hell with her. If she can't do the responsible thing as the mayor's representative, we have to hold the mayor responsible and accountable. And as I told you before, his time is running out. But the police commissioner's time, already, she just got in there, but her time has run out. I'm telling you now, she ought to resign to the disrespect that she has done to the people of New York, and the disrespect that she has caused and shown this independent civilian complaint review board. She's got to go, and I don't have any process for her. I only have my personal opinion and outrage that this woman represents New York City in the name of Tish. Who the hell is Tish? I know what they are, billionaires. But I don't care about that, and you shouldn't care about that. To hell with the Tishers. If they are doing the wrong thing, they got to be held accountable too. So I say to you, Mr. Chairman, and I still notice that you still have interim out in front of your name. I don't understand why you still have interim, Chair. It's not because the mayor doesn't have time to take that interim off. He doesn't have the interest in taking it off. If he doesn't do it to you, he is disrespecting this entire board. I mean, it's ridiculous. When are you going to speak up for yourselves? Do you have to have another memorandum of understanding between the board and the mayor, as well as a memorandum of understanding with the police commissioner, who ignores all that stuff because she's not interested, just like the mayor is not interested in justice. This is a shame. I am so upset. I am so disgusted. So I speak to the members of families, and to Sammy especially, because you spoke better than I could speak. I'm just hurt. I'm in tears now. But we got to have accountability. And when we created this, when I say we, the Civil Liberties Union and the New York Civil Rights Coalition created this board many years ago, we compromised and said, we're going to leave it to the mayor to do the right thing and the police commissioner to make the final judgment. We were wrong. We were wrong, because I never thought that a majority, the CCRB would send a report to the police commissioner saying these police officers did the wrong thing. You got to act. I never imagined the police commissioner would ignore you, but she has, so she has to go. Period. Michael Myers.
Thank you.
Next, we have Khalida Akhetz.
Again, now?
Do you need an interpreter?
Yes.
And Jai, if you could move the mic down.
Sorry.
Thank you, Jai.
হ্যালো, সবাইকে শুভ বিকাল।
Hi, good afternoon.
আজ আমি এসেছি উইন রোজারিওর সুবিচার পাবো এই আশায়। তো এটা আমি একজন মা, তো উইন রোজারিওর যে ঘটনা ঘটেছে সত্যি দুঃখজনক, এবং আমরা যারা মা আছি, অভিভাবক আছি, তারা সবাই আমরা সন্তানের জন্য চিন্তা করি। এখন উইন রোজারিওর আগেও এসব ঘটনা ঘটেছে।
Okay. Hi, today I have come to support Rosario's family, and I'm also a mother. When I heard about Rosario fact, then I got scared. And always that as a mother and as a guardian, we always wait.
আমেরিকার মতো এত উন্নত দেশে যদি কোনো সুবিচার না হয়, যদি এই ঘটনাগুলো আগে যেটা ঘটেছে যদি সুবিচার হতো, তাহলে উইন রোজারিওর মতো এই তার বড় সন্তানকে প্রাণ হারাতে হতো না।
A country like USA, if this type of things happened, then there's nothing to say. And these things happened even earlier. If we would get justice for those cases, then this would not happen again. And then nobody would have to lose their elder child.
আমি সিসিআরবি কে অনুরোধ করব এটার জন্য সুবিচার হয়, উইন রোজারিওর অভিভাবকরা যেন সুবিচার পায়। ধন্যবাদ।
I will request CCRB that we should get justice for this, and Will Rosario's family should get justice about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We hear you. Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's anyone else who wants to make public comment, if you could line up behind the podium.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Moss.
Yes, hi, my name is Moss. First, I would say
I was very inspired by the young people that were here earlier today through the Summer Youth Employment Program, which gives young people a proactive opportunity to do something positive and see how the CCRB can be a resource in their lives. And I think that's a very positive thing for the future generations. As a woman who started a youth organization and had to experience the loss of so many people I know that have lost their lives to violence, I can identify with the pain of some of the mothers and people that have spoken earlier today of losing lives. And I think that it's incredibly important that this body understands its responsibility to care and to acknowledge the proactive needs that the NYPD needs to stand up to in order to hold that shield on their bodies. To have that shield of honor, that is a shield that is supposed to represent protection and safety and security in our city, and to hear the stories of how they have escalated it and used their own guile to disrespect life, human life. And I don't know if it takes a training. I don't know if it takes them sitting down and talking to the people whose lives they've affected in perpetuity, but something has got to be done. And I think that one of the main things is, and many of the people already spoke about this, so I just want to reiterate that the importance of what this body's work is and why it was even started is incredibly important to making sure that when somebody has done something like taking a life or tasing and shooting at someone, that it is met with discipline. Because if it isn't, if it goes on, then like people said here before, it will continue to happen because they feel like they're getting away with something and they're getting paid on top of getting away with the injustice. So we have a moral responsibility and an obligation to do something about it. And that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, good afternoon. Andrew Case, Latino Justice Pro-Beth. First, I'm so moved by the interns. Thank you, Jihai, for putting together such a program. I think that the video they did was great. Mr. Applewhite, I have a background in theater too. He's not back here anymore. He was back there a minute ago. I think that the connection between theater and law and justice is important, and I think it's great to see people expanding the reach and expanding the voice of this incredibly important agency. Latino Justice also stands with the family of, obviously with Alan Police, Mohammed Ba, Shambel, and the family of Win Rosario. And it is incredibly important that you all hear the stories of the community and family members here today. You are not a jury. You do not get sequestered. You do not get shielded from the news about cases. In fact, I know that you guys all get media updates of cases that are in the news. I know that because 27 years ago when I worked at this agency, we used to cut them out of the newspaper and glue them on pieces of paper and scan them for you before we had an internet. So
There were no scans. Photocopy.
we photocopy them. You're right. I now remember that. It was, you know, it's a different situation. It's not a jury. There's no rules of evidence. You're entitled to make a holistic determination. And part of that holistic determination is that Win Rosario was a human being with a community and a family that loved him, that was behind him, and that is willing to come here on a Wednesday night in August to tell you all that. And you are able to make a determination when you hear this case about whether or not people in that community will be afraid to call the police if they have a sick mother because their memory is that someone was killed and the officers were not punished. That is all relevant. That is all part of the case. That is not to be kept from you. I want to say that this agency has actually been doing remarkable work. I looked at the executive director's report. You have a 47% substantiation rate in July. We used to be told 20 years ago that 15%, 12% substantiation rates were high. Most complaints were garbage. 47%. Once you have cameras, once you have body-worn cameras showing what officers are actually doing, We learn that people are telling the truth when they come to the CCRB. We learn that people are telling the truth about what their experiences are, and you and your investigators have done enormous job and enormous progress at uncovering that and showing that. The problem is at the police department. The problem is not with you. The problem is not with your staff. Your staff is terrific. Your investigations are great. I read CCRB investigations. I read IMB investigations. Your investigations are much better. The problem is at the police department. The short statute of limitations issue has been solved. Jeffrey Madry has been fired. The low-hanging fruit has been taken care of. But there are still issues with retaining cases. There are still issues with not implementing progressive discipline. And there's a huge issue with hearing a deputy commissioner of the police department rule that she looked an officer in the eye at a hearing, decided he was lying, and a police commissioner who was not in the room said, "I disagree." That is not how hearings work. So I encourage you as a board to do everything you can to enforce your board's power and your board's MOU. The Board of Corrections sued the Department of Correction when the Department of Correction refused to give them video from inside the jails. You have power here. So I encourage you all to take that power, to keep doing the mission that you're doing, and thank you for all the great hard work that you're doing. And I want to thank all the community members and the family that came out for Win Rosario tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who?
Anybody else? Yes, go.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone who came to this meeting, whether you spoke or not. Thank you for the investment of your time and your effort. And I, as a board member, appreciate it. I want to just say several things about the process here. First of all, maybe it's not obvious. We have not received the Rosario case yet, not seen the video. We'll get an investigative report. We will look at it very seriously. The one thing I can say is, while there are sometimes different perspectives on this board because we're different people, I think you would appreciate the level of attention and discussion and effort that goes into our cases. And I know I can promise you that will happen in this case. And Mr. Case just touched on something on the Feliz case, because I actually think it's worse than just the police commissioner being able to overrule the CCRB. There was a trial.
Right.
There was a trial judge who made a determination on a set of facts. I read the police commissioner's preliminary ruling. She just argued the facts differently. I agree. She wasn't in the room. She looked at it through an aperture about that narrow, rather than looking at the whole incident, which is, in my opinion, incorrect as a matter of law. But that's very distressing, not just to the CCRB and our authority, but that there was a trial, that there was a judge, a set of findings, and then one person can simply say, no, I look at the facts differently than everybody else who's looked at the case. The third thing is, and people have touched on it, there is obviously a problem in this city about the response to purported mental health cases.
Right.
We all know it. And we know it because we watch a lot of videos of a lot of cops on what they call EDP cases. And we see a lot of bad stuff, but there is nothing more painful that we see than when a family calls 911 because a family member's in distress and the cops show up, and you see the parent, the mother, trying to intermediate, trying to explain. It's awful. It's awful, honestly, for everyone involved, including the police officers who often don't know what they're dealing with, clearly aren't trained properly, try to assert themselves in ways that are counterproductive and all the rest. It is a huge problem. And our determination of any single case doesn't solve that problem, but we're all well aware of it. And this agency is a repository of a lot of information, a lot of data and a lot of documentation of the problem. And I hope as things go forward in this city, and I hope that there's an effort to look at other ways to deal with this, that the data and documentation that this agency has will be accessed and utilized to help drive policy prescriptions, because clearly people need somewhere else to reach out to in some situations, not just the police department. So again, thanks everyone for coming. It's really appreciated.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for coming.
I think we're done. Is there any old business that we need to come before the board? If there's any new business before the board? Hearing none, I'm going to move now. We break into executive session. The agenda for the executive session is board will consider one full board case. The executive director will discuss pending personnel action, and the general counsel will provide update regarding pending litigation. You have a second? Second.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you all for coming. All those in favor of joining the executive session, say aye. Aye. This meeting is adjourned now. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.